Hey guys, Ginger here. I wanted to finish up my thoughts in my little van video there that got cut off midstream. These things happen. What can I say? Duct tape production. Anyway, and as you can see, I'm home now in my usual domicile. And I wanted to quick finish off some thoughts about the whole idea of the issue with experts, especially on how to mitigate, how to fight against what I would call expert creep. The experts getting outside their lane and claiming an air of expertise about things that they are not experts about. And also ways that we can mitigate our own somewhat natural tendency to grant them that authority outside their actual field. First, for the expert, or for the would-be expert, ways to mitigate becoming, start claiming expertise outside your field, or ways to remind yourself that there's a world beyond your field. Again, do have a hobby that is something outside of that field. I don't care what it is per se. I would definitely recommend that it's something with your hands, whether it's, I don't know, building model airplanes, woodworking, gardening, something that gets you in touch with something, so where you can see the progress and everything being made, something that gets you back in touch a little bit with nature, with creation. Martial arts are great too, because if you've got a really super high ego about whatever field it is that you're an expert in, nothing will bring you lower than getting thrown on your back and put in an arm bar. Just saying. So do that. Find a hobby, whatever it is that is commensurate with your abilities and everything, and with your time. But make some sort of time for some sort of hobby that gets you outside of your field. It will remind you that there are considerations that are beyond what your field covers. I mean, I do this. Well, gosh, I've got so many different interests that are not directly related. It's kind of impossible to find myself thinking I'm the expert. If anything, I find myself thinking perhaps I know more about more things than I actually do. Because a generalist can also fall into his own traps. And maybe I'll do a video specifically addressing that sometime. But like, I know a teacher who he's a high school teacher, and he's very intelligent, but he is prone to work have a second job in the service industry. Last time we talked, he said that he has a second job at Jimmy John's just so he can kind of keep in touch with what it's like to be at the bottom of the ladder, essentially. And I thought that was a really good idea. Because it's really easy to start just applying abstract theory to all of these places where maybe we once were, but we're not anymore. Ways that you can avoid overly reverencing the experts and remind yourself that they don't know everything about everything. The biggest way is to remind yourself of the things that you know about, and then think about any time you see somebody who's an expert in another field and they start commenting on the field you know about. How often are they right? How often do they know what they're talking about? I'm willing to bet it's not terribly often. The easiest example of this to point out is the news media. How many times? I know a lot about a handful of things. I know a lot about the Catholic Church. I know a lot about nuclear power, and I know a lot about the space program and space things in general. The media almost never gets anything about any of those three things right. They are regularly completely wrong about all of those things. So, and other people I've talked to who are experts in other fields, like doctors, will complain about how the media gets things about the medical field completely wrong. So that helps remind me not to trust them, perhaps outside of a handful of fields. And even there, honestly, when it comes to the media, I don't really trust them. But it should help also, you can easily extend that to experts when they're getting out kind of outside their lane. It's like, okay, yeah, you're smart over here, buddy. Again, to bring up Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking is really good, or was really good, when it comes to things like physics, the cosmology, math, very, very ridiculously high math. He's very good at all those things. Gets outside of those, gets a little wonky. Elon Musk, when it comes to things like, rocket design, and as it turns out, car design, basically engineering. Elon, you know what? You're the man. The nature of reality, the whole thing, he's talked about how he thinks it's relatively likely that we might be living in a computer simulation. Yeah, I'm buying it. Not even a little bit. Elon, love you in your lane, buddy. Stay there. And you can apply this across with Richard Dawkins. I'm sure he's an excellent biologist. Not as a theologian, though. As a theologian, he kind of sucks. As a philosopher, he kind of sucks. In the same way, I don't necessarily want a philosopher operating on my pancreas. But I think a doctor should be something of a philosopher. Hey, that's a whole other conversation. And I think based on that last comment, this has gone on long enough. I've made my points. So remember what points. Let's review real quick. Experts have a tendency to think they're experts in areas that are outside their field. People have a tendency to grant them that authority that they tend to claim for themselves, but haven't actually earned. Ways to fight that: if you're the would-be expert, get yourself a hobby that has nothing to do with your field. Remind yourself that there are things beyond your field. Experts also have a tendency to forget all the other variables that can come into play, even in their own field, that can affect their own conclusions. Don't be that guy. Have an area of study that doesn't relate directly to your field. So again, similar to having the hobby. It reminds you that there's things outside of your area of expertise. Again, to avoid overly reverencing the experts, remember the things that you're an expert on. And how many times would-be experts who are good in one field turns out they don't know squat about the field that you know about. Remember those things. Anyway, I might, on my next night off, work on splicing these together into one video, and it's going to be a little weird, granted, because of the two different settings, but we'll see how that works out, and if I've got time to do that, because I've got other behind-the-scenes website work to do as well. But in any case, expect more of this sort of thing over the next few weeks while I'm working nights, and I have drives home when like I said, might have a couple of thoughts rattling around in my head, and I just need to get it off my chest. So anyway, I will be live at some point this coming Sunday night, possibly 2 a.m. Actually, 2 a.m. Monday morning. I think I'm going to make that my target. So expect some sort of live stream commentary at 2 a.m. Monday morning. And until then,